First off, let's just take a moment to appreciate the skins. We have a Fenrir T5 where he is actually like a mount and like different characters get on top of him. It comes with 3 different presets that also have multiple colorways you can use. They're doing a new thing with the skins here where you can basically apply a color to the let me move my camera. Where you can basically apply different colors. So like think of it like Destiny shaders, but on Smite skins, I guess. Spicy Ramen Ra, obviously a goated ass skin already. Angel of Chaos Cthulhu, kind of the like angel like biblical angel description kind of skin. Little Charmer Cupid recolor. Hot Rod Racer Soul, pretty nice. And then Uller, for people who want that. We got King Arthur. Yeah. That is probably the best skin in this whole set. And then Soul Hammer Vulcan's pretty nice. The Shadow Spawn Loki is okay. And the Chernobog skin is once again a recolor. We don't really care for that. We're going to move on. Zippy, 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 zip. Let's talk about the important stuff. There's some new stuff on the map that you can contest over. That's going to be a lot of fun. They nerfed Shutdown. I think that this is one of the biggest changes. I am telling you. Shutdown rewards and Shutdown XP rewards and all that other shit got nerfed hard. You're not about to sit here and be ass all fucking game, get 1 kill, and then all of a sudden you catch up after being dog water. That shit's gone. The mid lane is much wider. I mean, like, they say noticeably wider, but I need you to understand, chat, like, the lane is big as fuck, and you'll see that when we play ranked today. And they shifted mid lane closer to solo lane so that, like, there's some more new pathing options. They also put gaps over the top of the camp so that you can see right into it. They have some new features. In mid lane, there's a new capture the flag kind of thing going on, where if you get it, it'll give your team a permanent overall damage against structures and increased tankiness. Permanently throughout the game. It only pops up 3 times. So, that's benefits for you and your team. Yeah, I agree. Dog shit players shouldn't come back. Unleash the Titans. So that's really cool. Basically, at one point during the game, you're just going to see, after the 3rd and final Stygian Beacon, right? The thing that's going to spawn in mid, after it's been taken 3 times, the 2 Titans, which are the final objectives of the game, are actually going to walk their ass down the lane that has the most structure still up and help you kind of bulldoze those things. So kind of like your own, siege Titan, I guess you want to say. When the Titan dies, it goes back to the thing. And they have some cool new abilities and stuff like that in their attack chain to help them be more active and helpful during the fight. I'm telling you, the Titans are fun. I really enjoy them. They changed, so this is another big change. I'm highlighting the changes that are important. I know I'm like skipping through a lot of this shit. I'm highlighting changes that I think are notably important to the overall game. And one of the bigger ones is right here. The mid harpies are now going to spawn at the minute mark rather than the minute 30 mark. This means that you don't have to sit in mid lane as the jungler with your mid laner there, or vice versa, for 3 straight waves, not actually participating in jungling because there's no farm up on the map for you to actually take after everybody does their initial start. So that's going to be a thing of the past. And of course, it gives you more XP and more gold, which means that they're worth more and it's more contested. Items, crazy shit here. Ritual Dagger. You used to be able to use this, and it makes your cooldowns decrease significantly for your relics. Your relics are these really powerful abilities. You only get 2. And this item lets you basically get them more often. I like this item specifically for like support builds, and now we have tier 4s for these. So they call them glyphs, but basically these are tier 4 items. That is tier 3 items that have an added effect. This first one is Bewitched Dagger. It's a it's a, I guess the word is like homage to an item that they got rid of called Witch Dagger, and it reduces the attack speed of all enemy gods around you by 25%. Needless to say, at a time where tank meta is up, nerfing the carries is crazy that they would even put this fucking item in the game. I can't tell you how broken that is. And then Eldritch Dagger, you use your relic and then your protections are increased by 15% and you gain the ability to see wards. Fuck the see wards thing, even though that's really nice actually. But the fact that you can pop your fucking relic and then get 15% increased protections on the protections you already have is fucking bonkers. Don't know why they put that in the game, but it's here now. Expect to see that item, see a lot of play. They upgraded Runeforge Hammer, which is the item where like if you hit someone with a CC, you deal more damage to them. It's a brawly item that you see on solo laners. It's got a tier 4/glyph. After you hard CC someone, you leave a big ass symbol on the floor, like where you hit them. It lasts for 5 seconds, and enemies inside of it take 10% more damage. So you want to talk about out trading someone? You hit someone with a fucking CC, and then after you hit them with the CC, you just start fighting them in the spot that they're in, and you just totally fucking out trade them. Expect to see this item see play on certain gods like Surtur, and then they gave it another glyph, of course, because they always give 2. Rune Breaking. After you hit your hard CC, enemies deal less damage and take more damage for 3 seconds. Can only occur every 15 seconds. This one does kind of the same thing as the first one. Honestly, I think that they're kind of too close, but both those items are going to see play depending on the god that you pick. This item is the most broken item that they have changed. They gave Pridwin a glyph/tier 4. Don't know why the fuck they did this. This shit is fucking bonkers. When you ultimate and it has finished, you create an explosion dealing 75% of your protections from items and abilities as magic damage, and you slow the targets around you for 25%. So if you don't know what this item does, you activate your ultimate. When your ult resolves, you get a fat ass overshield. The fat ass overshield detonates and does some damage, and it's kind of okay. Now it detonates for a massive amount of damage, and it slows the people. And then afterward, you gain a shield equal to 90% of your protections from items and abilities for 5 seconds. And then when that is destroyed, you explode again. What? You get double overshield plus explosion and a slow? Item is crazy. And Reverent just does just about the damn same thing. Except you get 200% on a shield, and instead of it being 2 shields, you just get 1 shield. These are big items. I cannot stress this enough. These items here are going to be meta defining. They are not like the last items that came out during the Season of Hope. These items are the real fucking deal. They're crazy. They were trying to do the patch notes when I watched it live. They were trying to make it entertaining, but I was really bored out of my fucking mind. But when they put these fucking items on the screen and I read them bitches, they look like custom cards. They're crazy. Like, I don't know who put these together, but it couldn't have come at a better time for tanks. This is another thing that we have to make note of, which is largely the basis of most of the patch note, is the game-wide item stat reductions. Long story short, all the items that deal damage deal less damage. All the items that make you tanky make you less tanky. But the items that make you do damage do much less damage. And the items that made you tanky are a little less tanky. Which means that right now the meta is favored toward tanks. Yeah, and that's all this patch is. It's just all these fucking items got nerfed. And all the tank items got nerfed, but instead of just being hard nerfed, they got toned down, but not equal to the damage that was being toned down. They reverted the pin changes. Pin percent is crazy now, to kind of help mitigate the tankiness that's currently in the game. But it's still a tank meta, so just be prepared for tank meta. As I'm scrolling through this, all you're going to see is numbers go down. And by, I mean significant margins. Like, if you see these, like, an item went from 95 power to 65 power, 155 to 110. You know, like, huge changes. They shifted everything down. Let's get through these damn items. Boy, oh boy. It makes most of these items aren't even really fucking relevant. But damn, like, that is crazy. Most of these items aren't super relevant. But it makes you realize just how many items are in this fucking game. I can imagine why it's kind of overwhelming to new players. Yeah. Whew. Here's the biggest sin of them all. You see how they hit rats nuts? That's just fucked. That's just fucked up. Leave Ratasker's nuts alone. They could have left him being crazy damage in the beginning of the game. Nobody mind that. So to go in line, so here's another big change, but I don't think the change was big enough. And this was really nice of them. It shows some foresight. But basically, the most frustrating thing you could have is someone who's really tanky. Right? Like, they're just running your ass down. They're not taking any damage. They're hitting you, and it really hurts. And it's just a frustrating experience. But what makes that even more frustrating is when they have MS. So they don't have. So there's a nerf to movement speed in this patch, because if you dodge an attack or you dodge an ability, you get 100% damage mitigation. The tankiest thing that you could be is untouchable. You know. So with that being said, they toned down some of the movement bonuses in the game, and that's what you're going to see here. Characters that give you movement bonuses are all toned down. Ally movement down, ally movement down, movement down, movement down. The length of time he's in a Colossal Fury, this is a significant hit to Vimana, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, it puts him in line. It makes him more fair, but it doesn't make him very fair. But I think that the change will be enough to really rein Vimana in. But if this change had been made last patch, it would have reined Vimana in. But with the tank change items, I don't think it reined Vimana in enough, and he's still going to be ridiculous. So just expect him to be ridiculous. That's what I'm expecting. But this kind of hit is really smart. It reminds me of back when, like, Cthulhu was a big issue. They just nerfed the amount of time he could be in his ultimate, and it really did the trick. So expect this to be impactful, but I don't know how impactful it's going to be given the tank meta that we're currently in. But if that gets reverted or toned down, he might actually start to fall out of the meta. Nerf to movement speed. Increase. So we're talking about a buff here. Okay. Here are the buffs. Okay. Achilles executes you at 35%, not 30 anymore. Anhur's base attack speed is increased. His slow is also increased. Apollo's mez duration has been increased significantly. Expect Serenade to be putting your ass to sleep for a good long fucking time. Also will help him get the hell out when he needs to. Movement speed on this, one of the only movement speed abilities to move up. Scaling on Suppress the Insolent moved up. Decrease the cooldown. Bringing Artemis kind of toward her earlier phase, like when Artemis was first really out. She was like the poke god. Expect her to be poking your ass really hard. Belch of the Gods buff for Bacchus. Bacchus didn't need this, but we'll take it. I don't know anyone who doesn't like Bacchus. Increased cat hit points from 2 to 3. That's pretty nice for split push reasons and for lengthy team fights. Increased stun duration increased duration CC immunity for self and allies. That's huge. For 0.0 to 0.5, his beads basically last longer. Decrease the cooldown on entering the walls, and also decrease the amount of damage that you take when you're in the walls. This is a significant buff for Kleedna. It's not crazy, but it's nice. Stun duration on this increased. Don Zaburo, baby. Did not need this fucking buff, but we will take it. We were one tapping you anyway. Now we're going to one tap you, and then we're gonna dance. Then we're gonna auto you. Discordia, decrease the cooldown on Strife. Disco needs these buffs. I like them. I don't think this. When I say Disco needs these buffs, Disco hits really hard. She really doesn't need them, but like, she's not been meta for a minute, so why not? She is seeing play. I think I seen somebody play it at the Invitational, not the Invitational, but the Masters tournament. Increase max HP percentage on Howling Dog. I think this is. I think Howling Celestial Dog has, and don't quote me on this, I might be wrong, but I think it has basically a. I think it basically has percent. It's kind of like a baby Kins is built into a Celestial Dog. So I think that's what it's doing here. Increased root duration, increased damage mitigation 35%. That's actually pretty hype. Fafnir, big change, big change, big change. Fafnir, baby. This is a big change. Wind Gust is also really nice on ESET. Don't get me wrong. This is actually really good, but I mean, it just makes ESET do more damage. She's already doing pretty good damage. But Fafnir is now going to be in his ultimate from 20 seconds to 40 seconds to 20 seconds to a whole fucking minute at the end of the game. Expect Fafnir to be going through like 3 and 4 rotations of his whole fucking kit and killing you. Increased shield duration. Also nice change. So that Geb's shield lasts longer on the targets. Sometimes it was just better to just follow the target while Geb's shield was on there and not waste your abilities. I think that'll kind of mitigate that counterplay. Increased base damage on his ultimate. That's also significant. Who knows? Maybe even see him in the solo lane, even though I still doubt it. Increased base damage on Ricochet. Don't let these numbers fool you. Who you will fuck you up. And if he is able to hit a bounce on you, you're fucking dead because Hu Yi's damage is cracked. Ixchel needed this buff. Her ult was so fucking terrible with damage. Now it actually does things. Reverted, Giannis's through space and time passive, where he gets percent penetration, which is part of what led Giannis to be a more competitively viable mage in mid. Expect to see him see a lot of play, especially in a tank meta. Getting 20% pin without having to do anything for it is huge. Decrease the cooldown on Coco Khan. That just makes him safer. I don't think that this is like something that should be understated. Like, this is pretty nice. Anytime a god that's not safe can get access to their escape more often is good. Nothing crazy. I don't know if it's going to push them into the meta or anything like that. Increased damage reflected. That's huge. That's powerful for Kuzenbo. Expect to see this man in the solo lane. He was already frustrating in solo. Now he's even more frustrating. Why? Increased damage mitigations from 10% to 20% on Watery Grave, which is his ultimate. Expect Kuzenbo to be the most frustrating, bitch-ass, unkillable, damage-reflecting, frustrating god who farts in lane that you ever fucking seen. Lancelot, movement speed and basic attack speed deductions on his quest. It's whatever. It's nice. It plays his passive. It's fine. Increased power scaling on his thrust. That's going to be good. Lancelot hasn't been seeing like a lot of jungle play recently. But people who play them usually play them pretty well. Agonizing Visions. Increase the duration that you're blind from 2.5 to 3. That's okay. Increased damage on this. Oh gosh. Fury Strikes. Okay. Viper Shot. Increase attack speed and base damage and ticks. I mean, this is huge. This is actually huge for Medusa. One of Medusa's strongest abilities. Decrease cooldown. That's good. What? Trident now also gives attack speed? Hold on. Didn't it always? No, maybe it was just movement speed, but now it's attack speed too. It's pretty nice. Increased protections provided from Solar Blessing. That's nice. Increased power provided as well. That's pretty nice changes. Increased damage per tick. From Raiju, I mean, it's okay. We'll see how it does. It's really hard to gauge his numbers. Increase health stacks, whatever. Set, yep, more damage. And then he gets his spawn to set more often, which means that he becomes more mobile. He actually becomes more mobile through this, and he does more damage. Increase this, yep. Scotty, power scaling on the initial hit increased, so her burst damage is higher. Sobek, yep, all his abilities went down and cooled down, so he can be more frustrating than he already is. Increased HP threshold, trigger the buff. Undefeated body, this was probably desperately needed. Sun Wukong gets stronger after he's taken a certain amount of damage. I guess he thinks he's Super Saiyan. But ironically, I mean, it started at 50%, so like, it was just bad because like at that point you're really not trying to trade like that, but whatever. Increased slow percent, huge on Caltrops. 20% that early on a slow, 30% at the end, significant. Increased attack speed and life steal in his stance swaps. That's okay, nothing crazy. Inferno Cannon at 10 seconds is AIDS. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Hook Slam, root duration increased. That's frustrating. Huge change. Red flag again, y'all. Red flag again. Zhong Kui now gains 1.5 protection split both ways for each stack that he gets from shouting at people and blowing their fucking eardrums. Instead of being at one stack, getting up to 40 stacks in total for 40 split protections, each stack is now 1.5, taking it up 20 protections. We are talking about a character who now has increased protections from 40 to 60 when his bag is filled. And his ult, when he fires his ult, it doubles his protections during the ultimate until his ult finishes, in which case his protections go away entirely because he emptied his bag of demons. But he goes up to 120, which means that when you go on Zhong Kui is going to magically have 2 fucking Mantles of Discord pre-patch. Expect Zhong Kui to be fucking up your day. Honestly, like, I mean, please do not skip this. Like, this is huge. Like, this is not a small change. 60 prots. This dude is walking around with 60 prots because he's shouting at people. And then he ults and goes to 120 prots. I don't even want to talk about it. And that is the patch note, y'all. So what am I expecting here? Healers are going to be very strong. Movement speed is very strong. It is a tank meta. Expect tanks to be very strong. I don't know where the ADC builds are going to go or what they're going to do necessarily with ADC builds. We'll have to see. I'll go through each lane. Given the map size and the way that the map looks, highly mobile assassins are going to be favored because of the new contestable areas and the continued team fights. Gods that have good objective secure team fights, healing and stuff like that, like your Raws, are going to be very desirable. The map is very large compared to what it was. Being able to drop fat abilities in team fights are going to be very desirable. So as far as mid goes, I'm going to say that you're looking for gods who are either very traditional. We're talking about the high damage, good, decent utility, good objective security, good objective steal, good artillery contesting mages. These are your Agnis, your Raz, your Thoths, your Vulcans, your Kokokans, all these guys that can hit from far. You're going to be looking out for them, your Yuangs, you name them, right? Alternatively, if you're not picking one of those, you want to pick a god that can abuse protection items or have healing and immense amounts of utility. So these other guys that you'll see that fit that description in mid are going to, and I can just put this on me now, hold on. All right, so the guys that you're going to see that are going to be in that role, your Raj, your Baba Yagas, Hell, Zhong Kui, like Ixchel. Those characters are going to be also pretty viable in mid. You're going to be looking for those characters the most. For the solo lane, you just want to pick everything you've probably been picking. I think still at the top is your Hercs, your Tiers, your Vimanas, all these gods that was already too tanky and were playing well during the tank suck patch are going to be really good here in the tanks are broken patch. So look out for those characters. Once again, Hurt, Vimana, Tier, definitely at the top of that list. And then gods who can make use of some of these very abusable items. So I would say Nike with the new changed items is going to be really good. Expect Nike Pridwin to be really nice with all that overshield and shit. And it's going to be cracked. Healers in solo lane will also be pretty good. Keep an eye out for your Aphrodites, your Chang'as. Those gods will be pretty good. Your anti-healers, Serb, all those gods are going to be pretty good in solo lane, I imagine, at this time. In the jungle role, I've been playing a little bit of Smite, prior to doing this. So I've already played about 7 or 8 games so far on the patch and a couple of different roles. And I will say that because of the overall changes to the comeback mechanics and the pity systems in the game, I would recommend picking something that is strong early, has good clear and gank potential. So your traditional junglers who are just really good at farming and have a consistent gank, consistent utility. I'm expecting to see Neja in some good movement speed, some good movement. I'm looking for movement, power, setup, and just good farming potential. The camps are up more often. There's more camps available on the map. There's more things you're going to be contesting over. So guys that can be frustrating, can set up, and can get where they need to be within a reasonable amount of time are going to be desirable. I'm expecting to see great things from gods with global ults, your Rats, your Thors, your you name them, your Thanatos. I'm expecting to see good things out of your, late game assassins, because the nerfs to ADCs makes it to where you can go up against them a little bit easier. They still hit significantly, and I'll get into that once I get there. But in the jungle role, expect late game. I expect early game. I think it favors the early game because of the changes. I don't think shutdown gold, shutdown XP, and all that other stuff is as crazy as it was whatsoever. And just because you die one time, you're not going to lose your lead. You're going to still be head and shoulders above whoever you were just stomping a moment ago. Which is a beautiful change from what we were experiencing in the previous patch. So I would say just expect to see some early game, good gank, good clear, good movement junglers. If you have a good gank, you got good movement, you can get your ass around the map, and you have good clear, expect them to see play. I'm expecting them to see play. Rat, Thanatos, Thor, Awelix, whoever. Good gank, good clear, play them. In solo lane, like I said, all things are already working good. In the support role, tanks that can peel properly are going to probably be very desirable. You just got to kind of pick one. I really don't know where tanks are going to be, like the actual tanks are going to be in this patch, because with the backline being so weak, you might want to play a more dive style of game. So maybe you'll see more of your frontline tanks, your Bacchuses, your Fafnirs, given the change on Fafnir, which is huge. Your aggressive supports is what I'm expecting to see mostly during this patch. And maybe like a diving team kind of situation. Your healers, Horus, these gods I think are going to see a lot of good support play. And last but not least, the carry role, the role I like the most. I play carry role was good in 16. I played carry role today, and I will say that overall, I did feel that the damage was lower. Um, it didn't feel absolutely terrible, but it was significantly lower. What I will say is this: is that the role of carry feels very traditional right now. Um, if you get to the end of the game and the enemy's tank is fed, it's a Riva Dirty. Just do what you can, hit your abilities, hit your autos, and just try and shred as much as you can. You're still going to have good numbers by the end of the game, but you're necessarily not going to be carrying a team fight all on your own. If you can get like super fed in the lane, if you can get fed in the lane, you can absolutely dominate the game. It used to be that you get to and this is something I want to put in perspective for the game. I played a match, and I'm telling you, by the 35 minute mark, I had full build, both relics upgraded all the way, and I had just bought a 3K pot by the 37 minute mark of the game. And that's not how Smite has been up until now. I was dominating the enemy Charybdis. I was on Ishtar, and I was literally sieging the Phoenix on my own. I feel like although the carry role got nerfed in damage, your agency is actually a little bit higher than it used to be. You can be dominant during the laning phase and actually dominate. You can go 5 levels up on your opponent, die, and not come back to them being the same level as you, not having the same amount of items built as you. And as a result, if you're making good decisions for yourself and you're being a little bit selfish as an ADC, and to make sure that you get to the late game and that you're able to do what you need to do by the end of the game, you're going to find yourself in really good predicaments in this patch from what I experienced. Now, like I said, people are tanky and everything, but you do significant damage. I would recommend in the ADC role playing guides that have pressure, who bring pressure, can clear, and just hyper farm. If you win out your fights and everything, just do everything you can as an ADC to get fed as hell. Win your trades, win your 1v1s, win the farm on the map. Be the better hunter. If you are the better carry, it will show up at the end of the game, and you will feel like you're doing significant damage because you can truly become fed. Fed is something that people like to like we say like, oh, this person's fed, but we're really just looking at his stat line, his score line, like, oh, how many kills, how many deaths? Oh my God, he's 10-0. Like, this guy is fed. But like, you can kill this person still. He might still die if he gets put in a 2v1 kind of situation. With my experience in my game so far in the ADC role, if you get fed in your role, you can totally take over the game. I feel like you can totally take over the game. It's not fair. Like, if you get ahead significantly and you play your lead properly, you play your lead well, you can truly win the game damn near by yourself. Like you're coming into the fights, you're 2 levels over everybody else in the game. You have a whole item on everyone else in the game, and you just come in and you absolutely smoke the enemy team. You can absolutely do it. So overall, carries are weaker, yes, but because of the overall game state change revolving around gold and XP gains, and the amount of farm that is currently on the map and the size of the map, I think that ADCs in a way are in the best spot to show their agency that they have been in a long time. So that's my overall take. Pick healers, pick tanks, go traditional. You want movement speed, you want power, you want it all. And I'm going to go ahead and get into some ranked games. So with that being said, let's get into it.